There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
What's on? Live from Las Vegas, we're here for day 2 of Knowledgefest Las Vegas edition. Of course, it's a big weekend for the entire industry because not only is it the first year to kick off the first show to kick off the year, but of course, this is culminating in an incredible award ceremony tomorrow night, Sunday night, in the Mobile Electronics Industry Awards. Now, to start my day 2 coverage, we have a familiar face next to me, and it's so cool to be finally sitting next to the man, Mr. Paul Truman from SiriusXM. Welcome to our CMA coverage of Knowledgefest. How are you doing today?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
You know, Paul, it was I kind of made it a point to call you in as our first guest on day 2 because I really wanted to get your feedback. You experienced day 1. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty positive review because it was pretty busy yesterday. So, in your mind, and how did you feel it went for the first day?
I think last night was amazing. I mean, let's be honest. You had all the major vendors here. The attendance was fabulous. Everyone was very engaged. It was really good. I was so pleased.
I gotta say, seeing the setup, seeing it go down, seeing the amount of vendors that are here, like you mentioned, like it is a very, very good representation of the majority of the industry. And I think from a dealer perspective, there's a lot of value. You know, when they come to the room, it's a large investment to come here, right? Well, but when you have all these vendors that you can speak to in person, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, and also when you think about it, I mean, these guys are coming in. We're in Las Vegas. It was Friday. And yet the training classes in the morning are still full, which boggles my mind because I don't know. I appreciate you getting me up early to do this thing. I mean, I appreciate it. Was it that no one else wanted to come? I get it.
No comment. Let's just keep on talking. No, well, first of all, you know, we're on the West Coast, so I was up a little bit earlier than, you know, most people around here. But, you know, I think from your, you know, SiriusXM touches so many different brands, and you got to be happy with the fact that all your partners are here.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Kenwood, Alpine, Sony, JVC, Nakamichi. You've got Boss. I mean, you've got everybody here. It is a really good representation of the mobile industry right here.
All right, so let's set up. You guys watching, obviously you're not here. Shame on you, but we're going to kind of give you an idea of what you're missing, right? So SiriusXM is set up in the Vox Electronics booth, and for those who don't know, what is that? Why is that so?
So what happens is Vox is our master distributor. So we use Vox to distribute all our product out to any of the retailers in the United States. So they're a great partner of ours. So it just makes sense to be in there because then when dealers come, you're in one place, you get to see all the different technologies they have.
And let's be honest, there's, you know, Vox has a lot of customers already as customers, so it's kind of that you know, ease of access to SiriusXM product, super simple.
Exactly.
So more specifically, what are you doing within that Vox space? What are you showing?
So I am excited because we are launching or have just launched our 360L technology on aftermarket head units, which for me is one of the best things since the actual launch of satellite radio because it incorporates not only our satellites offering, but also our streaming offering as well, all in one application.
It's the reviews of, if you haven't seen it yet, I mean, it is totally taking the SiriusXM experience to the next level.
It's absolutely amazing being able to listen to, let's say, BPM, realize that Steve Aoki's on, then create a Steve Aoki Pandora channel, save that as a preset, and then have BPM as a preset, and then Steve Aoki Pandora channel all in the one place.
Now, this all happens on the device. So right now, where can dealers experience or offer that device to the customer?
So right now, the Alpine is the first person to launch 360L on our on their platform, but I know obviously all the other head unit partners are looking into it, and I'm sure it's going to be coming out on them. But what happens is, because it's taking our streaming device, the actual Pandora options are linked to your online account.
Mhm.
So you're able to create a Pandora channel on, let's say, the radio, and then it'll automatically appear
All
on your
syncs
app.
up.
It just
Every
all
time you
syncs
log
up.
in, regardless of the device.
It's absolutely amazing. So then it takes your listening preferences and brings it into the head unit as well.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So obviously, SiriusXM presenting the very special portion of the awards on Sunday. No, here's the deal. Do you have any favorites that you want to win, or can I even call that?
I think everybody it deserves to win. Whoever's out there.
Mhm.
I would just like to say that if you're ever looking at voting for the best satellite radio company, I strongly recommend SiriusXM.
Make sure you
I think
make
it's
sure
the best.
make sure you read the card properly and don't
Yes.
check the wrong box in that category.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Saying. Wrap it up for me. What do you expect over the next 2 days? The doors, I mean, it was busy yesterday. I have a feeling it might even be busier today.
I think it's going to be just as busy today, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the booth. I look forward to going over the 2023 promotions and demonstrating 360L to people.
360L, that's what you got to check out. If you're not here, oh well, you missed it. Contact your rep and get with what this new 360L technology is all about. Mr.
Perfect.
Freeman,
Thanks
have a
ever
great
so
show.
much.
Thanks for coming
Thanks.
in. All right, our ongoing coverage here from Knowlegefest Las Vegas. We've got a bunch of guests lined up. You know me, I'm going to try to stack it up so that you guys get a real sense of what's going on over here. We're going to bring you as much insight as possible. I got some special guests standing by for us here in the MEA Lounge. I'm going to call them over. Let's go with the first guest. Come on over.
You gotta call their name.
I'm not going to call their name. I kind of want to be a surprise. We're going to mix it up a little bit. We worked real hard, reached out to everybody, get them over here. My first guest, come on over, sir. Have a seat. Mr. Jason Ewing. Now, why am I talking to Jason Ewing? Come on closer.
I don't know. Why are you talking to me?
We've got some pretty special things going on today. We've got some special guests. Yes, of course, I'm going to bring you guys the brands, but we've also got some iconic people that are attending the show that you may or may not recognize. Now, you were part of a show back in the day that we grew up just absolutely loving. Why don't you tell us what that is?
So back in 06 and 07, I was on the gas version of Pimp My Ride.
Mm-hmm. Pimp My Ride. Y'all remember Pimp My Ride? Who doesn't remember Pimp My Ride? So how long has that been?
We're at like 16, 17 years ago now.
16, 17 years now. So
yeah.
that experience, how did you even get that opportunity to be on that show?
So it's kind of weird how we ended up on it. Me and Cabe came from a different show. It was called Rock the Boat.
Okay,
and
yeah.
It was on the Outdoor Life Network, which is now called Versus,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. So we came from that show, literally walked in. We met Mad Mike. He hired us, told us to be there Monday. And this was like a Thursday night.
No portfolio, no check, no nothing?
No, he just...
You came with the street cred already.
Yeah, well, a little bit. Yeah.
So if reflecting on that, because, I mean, the show gained an incredible amount of popularity, incredible amount of following. I can't tell you how many people who are visiting this show, obviously remember and cherish viewing those shows back in the day. What was your biggest takeaway or your best experience from that you can recollect?
Like getting to meet all the people that were involved with the cars and
Mm-hmm.
hearing their backstories.
Mm-hmm.
And there, you always get the rumors about what's fake, what isn't fake, and it's a TV show.
Right.
It all comes down to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, being able to see the people and see their reactions really when they did see the car. That was actually
that part was genuine.
It was a genuine thing.
All right. So let the people know. I'm going to kind of pry in. I'm going to ask the questions I always want to ask because, when we saw those setups, right, you see these impossible scenarios. And then, the whole idea was to come up with a solution to kind of solve a set situation. I keep thinking about like the ice cream truck or, any of
ice
those
cream
things.
truck. Yeah, it was an awesome
right?
one. Yeah.
So when it came to the install side of things, like how hands-on were you guys? Were you like an army of 30 installers that are trying to put things in a real short period of time? Or what was the real score?
No, there was actually, we had an upholstery shop, which had about 2 or 3 people on it. Mad Mike would draw up the designs for what was needed in the vehicle. And then there was me and probably Mike would be the wiring guys.
There was no army?
No. Now we had other guys in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people that don't know what Galpin is, it's a huge shop.
Okay.
They have a lot of people there. We had a welder, but there was only...
Because let's remember, this is before laser and all the CNC and all that stuff, right?
We did have a laser. I asked.
Oh, you did have a laser. Okay.
So that's a little secret. So
there you go. There's a little nugget. Here you go. That's some questions answered there.
Mike was looking at lasers in his office on his computer one day, and I'm like, Mike, we need a laser. And he goes, for what? I'm like, we need a laser. and he made a phone call, and literally 10, 15 days later,
Laser shows up. All right,
It
so
was
laser is
awesome.
definitely part of it.
So yeah, we were basically the first kind of to show it on TV, using a laser for etching and cutting, and we burn up a lot of stuff playing with it.
Sure, you did. Absolutely.
Yeah. It was fun though.
So, two questions. To people now, 15 years later, does it come up once in a while? What kind of comments do you get?
Well, because I'm still involved in the industry, working with
Yeah,
First
you know
Tech.
what? Why don't you talk about that? I'm sorry, my apologies.
No,
Where
no,
are you now?
I work for First Tech. When I left, when my ride stopped, I went to AutoPage.
AutoPage.
So I was at AutoPage for a few years. I left there and went to Automotive Data Solutions in Montreal.
Oh, ADS.
I spent almost 8-9 years there, and I was actually traveling with Wade from First Tech for 2-3 years, and we just always had the discussion of, hey, why don't you come work with us? I mean, we work so well together, we travel well together. And then in 2019, I decided just to, and it's kind of a big family.
It is
between ADS and First Tech, and it was very, very
a lot of crossover, a lot of collaborations,
So it was a super easy transition.
So I guess you kind of stayed within that lane of remote start integration, wiring,
yeah,
harnesses, all that jazz.
I don't know, man. It's just being old school. I started in 1990, and I found that I understood wiring better than fabrication.
Yeah, that was your jam.
I stayed in my lane.
Very good. And here you are, still relevant, active in the community, in the industry. No, for sure. Yep. All right. My last question for you: if we were to redo that show today, just imagine for a second.
You wouldn't even have to ask me. I'm in.
Okay. How do you think? What would be the biggest difference?
I think the integration portion of it would be bigger. Plus, you would have. I mean, obviously, we did a lot of silly stuff.
Yeah, right? But that was the fun part.
That was the fun part.
Yeah.
I mean, the cotton candy machine in the trunk.
Yep.
It was a little
over the top. That's okay.
But it was fun. We made cotton candy for a couple of days at the shop. It was pretty
Must
fun.
have smelled like cotton candy.
It did. Yeah. If we did it again, I think you'd see a lot more integration. I think you would see a lot more with all the fabrication techniques these guys have nowadays. It's crazy.
But I also think from an audience perspective, I think the expectation of that level of finesse, that level of detail would probably be higher as well.
It would. I would imagine it would be a lot higher, and I think you'd see a lot more less silly things, and more cool things.
More innovation, perhaps. Yeah. Very cool.
Especially building completely new door panels instead of modifying one.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Understood.
That kind of thing.
On that note, Jason, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thanks for having me.
Good seeing you on the show floor.
All right.
And really cool getting your insight on the pulpit.
All right, man. I'll be here if anybody wants to stop by and say hello. I'm here.
First Tech booth.
All right.
Go check. Give me your colleague. Let's go. Let's talk to Cave.
You want to talk to Cave?
Yeah, let's get Cave on the show. All right. So here we are, continuing coverage from Knowledgefest Las Vegas, day 2. We got all kinds of people coming on the show today. We're hanging out here in the MEA Lounge where members kind of get to chill out. In my little pre-stage thing. Come on in, man.
What's up, man?
What's going on, Cave? Pleasure to meet you. So we just talked to Jason, and we're kind of reflecting on a show that really meant a lot to a lot of people, right?
Yes.
And it's hard to believe how many years have already passed by. But
don't remind me of that.
That's fine.
Just a couple years ago, I'm pretty sure.
Just a couple years ago, but so many of us in the industry, attached ourselves to that show. You know what I mean? It represented a passion for us. What were some of the memories, if now sitting here, and I ask you, what are some of the takeaways that you would relive again in a second?
Just the camaraderie of being with other professionals. That was the first time I'd ever been in a shop where there were guys that were professionals in each of their trades. So upholstery guy, a painter guy, wiring. Most time you go to a shop, I did everything in most shops where I'd have, me and maybe another guy. But when I got there, everybody had a role and everybody did it. And
it came together.
That was cool.
All right. So let's talk about you. At that time, where were you when you got kind of drafted or chosen to be part of the team?
I was in San Diego with me and Jason Ewing. We're doing Rock the Boat.
So you were at another shop already?
Yep. We were at Ultra Custom Boats doing a show on OOM. And I mean, it was cool because it was big, $1 million speed boats, but it wasn't really our background.
It wasn't your jam.
Yeah, we didn't get along with boat people. Boat people are different. They're a different breed. They're not car people. So we butted a lot of heads there, but it was fun. We had a good time.
Okay, so you get part of the team, and since then, what have you been doing? Are you still in the industry?
Oh yeah, I own a shop in Indiana.
Indiana.
So I moved back after Pimp My Ride. I moved back to Indiana, where I'm from, and built a house on our family farm, built a shop, and my shop is 800 feet from my house.
Beauty.
And I have 2 cars every day.
Are you like hands-on yourself, or you have a team? Or you
Nope,
still?
I'm by myself, except I have one guy that's been coming around for about the last 9 months. I call him my Padawan.
Yes, sir.
But I don't have any employees.
So you're
It's
still
just me.
hands-on. You're still in the grind.
Yeah, I do it all.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I was just talking to Jason about some takeaway, some overtop episodes that we remember of projects. What was the one for you that was like, what the heck were we doing?
The Cougar, where I put like 12 TVs in the ceiling.
Yes, I totally remember that.
That
one.
was absolutely.
What was the
stupid.
purpose of so many screens again?
I have no idea. Here's how it worked on Pimp My Ride.
All right, let's hear it.
So people don't think like I came up with this.
Mm-hmm.
I designed one car,
Okay.
and that entire time I was there, and that is the Blazer.
Oh yes.
And you know it because I did 612s and a band pass. We did the Crown amp. It would look like an audio guy
Like a
designed
legit.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's only one. Everything else, I never had a say in. Basically, a guy would come out of a trailer who has nothing to do with cars with a napkin and a crayon sketch picture, and they'd say, "Hey, Cave, this girl was in the Air Force. Build that," and it would be some drawing of a center console with airplanes.
That's it.
landing
That's
on
all you got to
Yeah.
work with.
And it'd be Tuesday, and it needs to be done on Thursday. And I'd say,
Get her done.
Cool. And that's what I did. So they handed me a picture of a car that someone had drawn a bunch of squares, and I was like, "What are those?" And they're like, "TVs." I was like, "Why are we putting TVs in there?" They're like, "It'd be neat."
This is why I'm asking the question. What was the purpose? Like, you know how there was purposeful builds?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That one, I'd never, like,
That was just some dude in a trailer who thought it'd be neat to see 12 TVs in the
fair
ceiling.
enough, fair enough, fair enough. And man, the TV technology back then wasn't quite the same as we have
It
today.
was horrible.
CRTs. and
Yeah.
the whole
Well,
lot.
having 12 of them, I had to have 18 of them there because I knew half of them weren't going to work.
You
when
know
I
that.
turned them
You
on.
know it for sure, for sure. You know, you look at today. Here we are at Knowledge Fest. Obviously, we're at the pinnacle of technology. Everything's come so far. Imagine we did that show again. How do you think that would be different? And would there be interest?
I think people would be interested if it was a legit show. They don't like it was fun. The drawing of a napkin and putting 12 TVs coming from someone who's not a car person.
Mm-hmm.
That's when people started getting a little disconnected because it was just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whenever I would say anything, it's because the age group they were going for, they always said was 12 years old.
I see.
They weren't going for the
They were going for
18
the
or
Hot
20.
Wheel
They were,
Tonka crowd.
so if we did it again, I would go for more of the people that are into cars and
Mhm.
do real builds as
Mhm.
opposed to trying to go after the 10, 11, and 12 year
Right.
olds.
So a total demographic shift. Make it more legit, more
Then
relevant.
I think it would be all right. But
Interesting.
because anything else, 10 to 12 year olds are watching their phones. They're not going to watch TV.
You're absolutely right with that, and I think that more hardcore, more committed demographic would demand more because let's be honest, the techniques, the technology, the resources that are available today. I mean,
I would love to do a show with electronics for now.
That's what I'm saying.
Because what I do mainly at my shop is integration. I do all new cars. So 2022,
brand
2023.
new, yep.
And that would be, I think, beneficial to see integration. You know, like Motor Trend.
But that's what people want to see.
We'll have shows about putting exhaust on a car.
Yeah.
But you don't ever see how do you take the ANC out of someone's
Correct.
car? How do you integrate a pack piece into it?
100%.
I think that would be beneficial.
Very good. You heard it here first. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks,
and
man.
have fun at the show. Great to see you.
Appreciate it.
You're still hustling. Still hustling.
Always.
We got one more member of Pimp My Ride is going to come on in, and I got some questions for him because he seemed to be the brainchild behind it all. So I'm going to pick his brain. I'm happy that he's here. Get a chance to finally ask this guy what it was all about and where he's at today. So, thanks for tuning in. Of course, ongoing coverage here from day 2 of Knowledgefest Las Vegas. Mad Mike, welcome to the
What's
show.
cracking, man?
Have a seat, brother. Have a seat.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I watch your videos all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I know I watch yours, and everybody watching here has watched yours. So, out of the gate, how you doing, man?
I'm doing
What's
great,
up?
man. I'm out here in Vegas. Chris Gauss is out here. Beautiful room. It's beautiful Paris. And Chris actually walked me into the convention floor right now. Man, it's just amazing to see all the manufacturers here. It's just like somebody that took the CES North Hall.
Yeah. You remember that?
Man,
Mm-hmm.
it is just incredible.
You know, I'll be honest. This show for most of the industry is kind of replacing that in many ways, just because there was that time, right? That time frame, that 2000
yeah.
time frame. You walked in that North House, it was like, whoa, like
Yeah, you were in
double decker
heaven.
boots. You remember
Exactly.
brands like Fujitsu and all that stuff.
Yep.
Then they went. I'll call it the dark ages a little bit. It just kind of rolled off a little bit, and then all of a sudden, it's look at this place.
Yeah.
It's jamming. You know what I'm saying?
This is amazing, man. You guys, they knocked it out of the park with this one.
And I was just talking to your colleagues, and we're talking about how things have changed. Why don't
They
we
didn't tell on me, did they?
What's that?
They didn't tell me, did they?
No. Well,
Oh, good.
I'd be lying if they didn't say it. Well, I guess you'll have to watch this back. But let's do a little past, present, future situation. You know, we're here, what, 15, 16 years since the show, roughly?
Yeah, it was 2004 when we signed our first contracts.
All
What
right.
year is this?
I think we're 2023 now.
Yeah,
Yep. All right. So
long time from now.
I ask you right here, right now, what is your major recollection from the show? If you're talking to people, someone comes up, yo, man, what's going on? What's your
What
recollection
is
of
my
the show?
major recollection
Yeah.
of the show?
The takeaway after all said and done.
All said and done, being in a group of artists and being able to be creative, it was the most greatest thing. I was just talking to Cabe, and he was talking about, we all should go out to a cabin somewhere and just do us, and build.
Interesting. Build something.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Just being with creative minds that can actually do, versus these new laptop installers.
Yes, I know what you mean.
I just, it's a whole different kind of mindset.
So help us understand a little bit. Us viewers, we saw what we saw edited, right?
Of course.
What was your role? Like, if you put it on a piece of paper, this is what I took care of.
My role was to facilitate all the products from the sponsors and to make the ideas of the producers come to fruition.
So, okay, that's a big task, because what you're saying is you're talking to non-car audio people, giving you direction to say, can you
Right.
make this happen? And
Can you put a smoothie machine in the car,
Gotcha.
a bubble gum machine? Can you
Ice
make
cream.
bubbles shoot out of the tailpipe? Ice cream machine,
Yep.
popcorn machines, a river.
I mean, that must have been a tall order.
Boxing
Sometimes you're going back
matches.
to the team. You're like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
so we got to do this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you got to come up with an idea. You have to think of all the steps it's going to take, from the structure of it, from the electronic.
Now, was there like
standpoint of it.
time frame constraints? There must have been budgetary and time frame constraints to all these projects.
There's kind of budgetary. When we were at West Coast, it was definitely budgetary. At Galpin, it was a lot better, because Galpin being the number one Ford dealership in the world, we had almost endless resources.
Wow.
Yeah. At West Coast,
they were rolling. Mhm.
At West Coast, we had to make the resources, which made the job even, that much funner.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the guys over there are super talented.
Well, you're talking about the guys, you talk about your team, you're talking about taking a concept and making it a reality. Your
Right.
colleagues were talking about how the biggest takeaway for them was being part of that team, whereby
Exactly.
everybody had a specialty. Everybody had a role to play in the bigger
Mhm.
picture, and you were kind of orchestrating that whole
Right.
thing. What were some of the biggest challenges when it came to that?
Some of the biggest, when you get a whole bunch of artists in the same room,
Mhm.
man, it's horrible.
Not everybody would agree
No,
on anything, really.
it was horrible and fun all at the same time. But like, if you were to take, let's say, Michael Jordan, if you put 5 Michael Jordans or Kobe Bryants
kill
on
each
one
other.
team, they kill each
They
other,
kill
right?
each other, yeah.
And they all have these
Mhm.
egos, and you have to be able to, I used to call it tickle their balls and shit, right? So
All right.
you got to make sure that, this guy is happier. Cabe likes certain sugar on his pizza, so you got to make sure you have that. Or
Are you saying there's a little bit of babysitting going on?
you've got to babysit, man.
A little bit of ego petting?
Yeah, you got to. 'Cause
Gotcha.
these guys, dude, they're super talented,
Mhm.
and some guys, they only work in the middle of the night. They're like vampires.
Because that's how they do.
That's their
Got it.
gig.
All right. We're obviously technology. First of all, 2-part question. The reason I want to talk about now, where have you been up to? Are you still on the grind? Are you still in the industry? What you up to?
I'm still working on cars. I work on cars every day. But the crazy thing is that I've never worked a day in my life. I've been doing the same thing since I was 15 years old.
Mhm.
I am not a part of any industry. I just love electronics. I've gone to the Air Force, coming back out of the Air Force, and being a part of the 90s of the drug
Mhm.
dealing, and then morphing that into the customization that took place in the blow up of technology. Like, I put one of the first computers in the car.
You probably did put the first computer in the car.
Probably
Maybe.
so.
Who knows? Definitely. It was way before, when computers were like this big. But
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
but
Um,
it's incredible just to see how technology has
and you've kept up with it, and you're dealing with it every
100%.
day.
Yes,
Integration, all the different facets.
100%.
Okay,
every day.
So then that leads me to my final question, which is, imagine for a second,
Mhm.
someone comes up to you and say, Mike, we got the budget, we've got the resources, We need you to put it together. Would it work, and how would that look like? A Pit My Ride of 2023.
If someone had the budget, which would have to be in the uber millions of dollars,
Yep. Okay.
right,
Mhm.
to do something like that in 2023, it would look like a laboratory, pretty much. It probably almost like a Tesla laboratory or a Ford
You
laboratory.
picture everything all white, bright LEDs, people,
And
like,
we would be
laser
getting
machines
down.
everywhere.
We would be stuck to our computers. We would morph ourselves into laptop
Mhm,
installers
mhm.
because we'd be 3D printing everything.
So less sawdust and glue,
Oh
and
man,
more keyboards and
Yeah.
screens.
yes.
Yeah, I hear
Carbon
you.
fiber everything.
Carbon fiber, everything.
Yes. We'd
Different
be printing the
weaves.
circuit boards.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything, virtual reality, everything.
Mhm.
Right.
The whole thing would be 3D everything before you even
Right.
fab a single piece.
Right. And for us, back in the day, we had a pencil and a piece of paper, and I go like, hey,
Okay,
kid,
okay.
build this.
I wasn't going to ask this, but now that you're there, what if the whole concept was you weren't allowed this new technology and you had to keep it old school, but you had access to resources such as the new materials and the new, integration type stuff?
Like
Would
a
that work?
hybrid.
Like a hybrid, because if we went all out and had no unlimited resources, then yeah, we're talking about that very sterile 3D tech, But no, let's say you had to have it, keep it old school in a certain respect, because it's about the craftsmanship.
Of course. Oh yeah. I mean, you got CNC machines that we would have, programmers program, but we would actually make a buck and then hand lay the carbon fiber, hand do the wiring instead of printing out the circuit board.
It'd be interesting. It'd
Yeah.
be interesting that, but here's one thing that everybody agreed upon is that if a show was to happen like that, I think the audience then would be a different demographic now,
Correct.
and the expectation of the final product
Yes.
would be very much elevated, as far as how good, how great that final product needs to be at this point.
I would say, I got stuck on this a while ago, like the cars that are on Supercar Blondie, the cars that she does the tours with.
Yes.
These
I love
cars are just unimaginable.
From factory.
From factory.
Yes. You haven't done this is from the catalog.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So just imagine that being totally customizable.
Right.
That's what the level that we would be at.
Guys, I got Mad Mike to myself the last few minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much. We're gonna see you around
My
at the
man.
show. And
Yeah, of course.
good seeing you around, man.
All right.
Take care.
Got it. Have a great day.
We're gonna keep the show rolling, guys. We're gonna get serious with some serious people that y'all gonna recognize. Let me see who else I got coming up here. Oh boy, look at this. Coming up. This man I've been chasing down for the last 2 days. I called him earlier this week. I'm like, sir, you're gonna make some time for me. Have a seat, Mr. Nick Wingate.
So
Have a seat.
So
Come on in.
I always have to make time for Ben.
Well, I appreciate it. Especially I came all the way out here.
COVID or no COVID.
That's it.
And just to tell you, I'm not contagious. I did have it. My energy level is
We're
way
good.
down. but
We are good. Nick, we're at Knowledgefest. Some news came out earlier this week. I seen some social media posting on the Orca page. So I picked up the phone and I called Nalika.
That was a mistake. You
Well,
shouldn't
I
have
did
done
it anyways because it's what I do.
He doesn't know.
And Nalika's like, I have no idea to tell you anything about it because I don't know anything about it. However, my man Nick will know something about it by the time you see him in Vegas. And of
We do.
course, if you're paying attention to social media and you know what's going on in the DSP tuning world, Moscone and Orca announced a new input device
Yes.
for measuring
Yes.
called a binaural microphone system. Now, if you watched our episodes, Nick in the past has already made reference to
Yes.
binaural being ideal, being very realistic representation of the human head, the ear position, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So let's start from the outgate. What? Because there wasn't a lot of info on those posts, by the way. So what are we
No.
talking about? Am I right to assume that this is a input device system that integrates into your DSP GUIs and all that stuff?
Yes. you are
Okay, so
correct.
tell me all about it. Go.
Well, basically, what the powers and the folks at Glade and Moscone have created is a representation of a human being's head that has microphones where you would normally see your ear canals. Okay, there's one on the left and there's one on the right. And when you take into consideration that human beings sit in cars and our head affects how things react in the car, because let's face it, we have two ears. The left ear hears differently from the right, and vice versa.
It's also getting different input. different signals.
Exactly. And your brain correlates this together to create what we hear. Now, one of the things that we have understood for a long time is what is known as head effect. And that's how the human head can affect how things reach our hearing, reach our ears. Because believe it or not, your nasal passages in your nose can affect phase.
Your nasal passages in your nose can affect phase.
I had to go read this because I went, what?
What?
I read some audiobooks, this research online, and sure enough, they can.
Okay.
So can your forehead. So can the cheeks of your face. Every aspect of your head can affect the phase variance between frequencies because of the way it reacts with your skin and various different aspects of your brain, of your body, excuse me. So the folks at Moscone Gladen, they were like, this has to be taken into consideration if you're going to tune the car to the nth degree. You know, and so they developed a system and they wrote code for the DSP that analyzes not just time/delay, but it also looks at phase in time as it reaches your left ear and your right ear, and it analyzes it and corrects for it, the variance between the two of them.
Okay, before you go too far. So let's. So I'm trying to physically understand. We don't have it with us on the image. So
yeah,
is this like you said, human head?
Yes.
Is it an actual like?
Yes.
Oh, it is.
It is.
So that requires some type of base or tripod.
It comes with the kit.
It comes with the kit. And the reason I said that was once I heard that, you know, one of the things is, you know, depending on the driver of the vehicle, different people have different heights.
Yes.
So is that, you know, how much does that come into play as far as, you know,
it's
setting
critical. What you're going to have to do as a dealer, what you're going to have to do is you're going to sit your customer in the car and measure the distances, you know, to their nose and to their height and where they sit and where they're comfortable. Then you actually put your
to emulate
this as close as you possibly can, and it makes a big difference.
Well, can I say for a minute that right there is a next level bespoke experience for a customer, because now you're saying we're not just throwing a mic for a generic reading.
No,
we are custom catering the measurements, the readings, the data to your person.
Exactly.
And that's next level. I mean, that's what people want to, you know.
Well, you know, customer service.
Absolutely, that elevated customer service.
Exactly, and the level of technology that and the code that's been written for this, it is amazing. I only know of one company that actually does something like this. It's a Harman company named Trinov.
Wow,
that is high end. This is high end, uber high end theater, home theater.
Okay.
Where they come, you take the Trinov DSP preamp and it analyzes the room, and it will literally tell you this is where you need to put your panels.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because it's showing you phase variance, but it also has the ability to build off-pass filters to correct problems that will itch in the microphone.
So I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong on this thing, on one of our previous discussions when we were talking about the latest GUI version.
Yes.
Right? There was a section in there about selecting a binaural input. So there was some foreshadowing of this to come. You could, I guess, talk about it at that point.
No.
But obviously this was all part of the bigger plan.
They wanted a few years back, we were going to launch this, and it didn't meet the expectations where they were like, okay, we're going to do this. They said, no, we're going to stop because the number crunching power capability of the DSP processors that were available 6-7 years ago wasn't there. Could not do it. We can do it now. Plus, they have a gentleman who understands human hearing, audiologist. It's amazing what they've done. I mean, Ben, you're going to be able to open the measuring section up, measure delay, not just at 1,000 hertz or 3,000 hertz like you normally would think. No, it's a very wide band of frequencies you're going to measure. And it kind of looks at it and says, okay, so this is the phase variance from here to here. Okay, and this is the average. So this is how we're going to set delay.
Okay.
Yeah. So then this is the way I've always thought we should have been doing
But
this.
what it would, okay, well, this might be for another show, guys, maybe an upcoming session, but I can't wait to see the visual representation of that data and how that breaks out to the person who is actually going to be playing with this data and doing these type of adjustments based on this new input device.
Oh, it's amazing. You just click on it in 2 seconds, you're done.
You know, you know what? He said that once before, and I called him out on it, and I was wrong. And it literally, he did it real time. Go back on one of the videos when we did set up the initial setup. 3 minutes is all it took. What else is happening? Obviously, this is a big topic of conversation. Everybody's going to come by the booth and ask you about it.
Absolutely.
But what else are people missing out here at the Orca booth?
We've also, we've got new K2M power.
Brand new K2M. That's, you know what? They actually have each individual component on
Yes.
display. You can touch, feel, look, lick, whatever you want. I don't know. Okay, not the lick part.
I would prefer that you not do that.
Yep. So definitely, that's cool.
I mean, it's K2, it's Kevlar, quote unquote, twisted aramid fiber.
Mm-hmm.
You can lick it, but
that little small is a 2.5.
Yeah,
that little 2.5 though.
It's amazing.
That little 2.5 though, you have to put in your hands. It is sick. All right, what else is going
on? There's also we're going to be bringing in some additional Gladen speakers from Germany.
More Gladen speakers.
Yes.
Now, as far as listening experiences, what two cars are a must listen to?
Obviously, there's a Ford Bronco that has K2M in it.
Bro, this Ford Bronco. I'm definitely going to go listen to it, but I've heard nothing but spine chilling experiences.
It is intense.
Mm-hmm.
It's very musical. It's very intense. It is very powerful.
Now, is that one slate fiber or is it?
No, it's all K2M.
All K2M. Okay.
It's all K2M.
All right.
And then we have a Chrysler 300C that has nothing but Gladen Aerospace in it, front to rear, center channel. We're utilizing the cross mix functions built into the H12 Aerospace. Mm-hmm. Spatially, it's extremely impressive to sit in that car and listen to it because the boundaries of the car are non-existent.
So Nick has been talking to me all morning about this car. I will definitely get a head over there, but apparently that is so deep, it just defies how you can build a stage and build that space.
Yeah.
According to this person next to me, apparently knows what he's talking about.
And it's because of the rear channels that
okay. This. I'm gonna meet you over there for that.
Okay.
So thank you for coming by.
Yes, sir. Anytime, brother.
All right. That was Nick Wingate representing Orca, of course, brands like Gladen, Mosconi, and of course Focal. Oh, I got my next guest up here. I got some questions for this guy. Sir, come on up. Come on up. We're keeping it rolling here at K-Fest Day 2 coverage. We're trying to bring you as many vendors and trainers out here to give you an idea of what you're missing, because a lot of stuff is going down at the show. Mr. Eric Brooks from Alpine. Come on in, sir. How are you? Good to see you.
Good, man.
Eric, Alpine is a busy booth. Holy cow. When I say it's a busy booth, I mean it is a busy booth. There's vehicles in the booth. There's another vehicle I noticed at the entrance where I saw my good friend Dan demoing, which I promised him today he's going to show me because he's very proud. He tuned that vehicle apparently. All right, great. But at the booth, Eric, listen, a couple new things, sneaky stuff. Because I mean, we talk often. And I still saw stuff that he never once even mentioned. You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go right there because it's kind of the buzz, the chatter. There is a new small footprint multi-channel amplifier, built-in DSP. Now you're thinking, Ben, there's many of these on the market, but hold on. Next to this amplifier is an icon or an image of a phone. And I was like, what's this all about? So I'm not going to steal your thunder. I want you to tell me what is all this buzz about this little amplifier in the Alpine.
Okay, so this is what we're calling Optimate, right?
Okay.
Optimate OEM processor.
Okay.
And what it does, it has a lot of functionality for OEM integration, right? It has anti-EQ, so you can go in and flatten out the factory EQ curve.
High level in, obviously.
Yeah, high level in.
High voltage.
Line level in, so if you want to use an aftermarket head unit, you can do that too. So it's really great for integrating into a factory head unit, right?
How many channels?
Of what?
Of
input,
power.
output?
Power. 8 channels. Staggered?
Yes. So it has 50 watts by 6.
Okay.
And 150 by 2, or bridgeable to 300 by 2.
300. All right.
Yeah. So in the vehicle that you'll see here, we thought what better way to demonstrate this product than using our S-Series line of products. So
so you match it with S-Series speakers.
Yeah, so we have an all-new line of S-Series, which is high resolution.
Oh, wait a minute. New line of S-Series?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so we launched that here at the show. So, so we have the new line of S-Series, which is all high res. This DSP, this OEM integration DSP, is high resolution also. So we're showing our S series basically in the OEM configuration, all in OEM spots in this Tesla. We have 210s of our
1 amp.
1 amp, one box about.
So that's the
So
other
big.
thing. This is inconspicuous because it's amongst, you got the new status line and stuff going on there, all this stuff, and there's this little box. And then I started reading on it, and there was just a lot of people around this box. And that's why I kind of, went towards it. So you mentioned there's also processed outputs as well if you want to expand.
Yeah, so if you wanted to do additional amplifiers to do a bigger system, it has 8 channels of output. So they're basically aligned with the internal power.
Okay.
So you could either use the internal power or use the preamp outputs to run larger mono amps, or whatever.
Which is nice
do.
because from a system building potential, or setting up for something that the customer might want to build on or whatever, that's a nice feature, especially in the small box. So where does this sit in the range? Because we just talked, you guys just launched that status DSP, which is higher end, right?
Yeah.
So this is a little bit under that?
So again, really the focus of this is OEM integration, right?
Okay.
And being able to get into vehicles where it's, frankly, it's harder to replace the head unit.
Right? I think we've all kind of come to terms with that now.
So the ability that this has, it has the ability to accept up to a 30-volt input on the high level side. So basically,
did you ever think we'd have 30 volts to deal with?
No,
in the factory.
No. So you're talking, if you have a factory amplifier, you can go right into this thing. You can handle it no problem. It has matrix summing, so if you have an OEM system that has a tweeter output and the mid-range output, you can combine that.
To be honest, it's kind of expected that it would have that at this point.
Yeah. So all of our processors have that. And then it has the setup stuff that you would do through your PC, and you
time up. This is what I want to talk about.
Right.
I thought this for me was kind of game changing.
Yeah.
So while you set this up, why is the process of setting up going to be attractive to dealers?
So the setup process for the inputs, right? So you have to go in and you have to tell it what input's going to what output, right? So you plug in your computer, you do input, whatever summing you need to do. And this input goes to this output, that stuff. I need to set my crossovers to protect my speakers, right? So I do all that. Then the cool stuff happens, right? So that's when you can go in and you can automatically sound tune this vehicle.
Automatically sound tune. Let's define that. What does that mean for Alpine?
So basically, we're utilizing a technology that uses VIR filters. So they're high resolution, full bandwidth filter, and they're very accurate in scale. So what you can do is basically create an exact picture of the sound that's in the car and create the perfect inverse of that sound. So now you have a flat response, right? Which is what we want. We want a flat response.
We're always after that flat response.
So it creates this flat response, and then you add your target curve.
Okay, hold on. When you say add target curve, is this like select menu, auto-generated Alpine target curve? Nope. Or can I go in there and put my own target curve?
Exactly right. You create your specific target curve. So whatever you want to do. If you want to add, additional bass, you want to bump up the highs, whatever you want to do, right? And it's really cool. So you can actually see on your computer screen, right? Or another screen we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, I was just going to go there.
So you see the...
This is with what input device? This scenario you're talking about, what are we using as an input device?
So
microphone?
So the microphone measures, right? So and the processor itself creates the audio.
Okay.
So your measure, and on the screen you see your original response in the vehicle. Then you see what it's doing for correction, which is the reverse picture, right? And then you see your target curve. So you grab these points and you move them up or down, and you can add more points or take away points, whatever you want to do.
So I haven't seen this yet, guys, but I think I've said this before. Alpine has arguably the sexiest GUI, and I expect no less with this.
Right. Oh yeah, it's cool.
I haven't even seen it yet.
Cool. It's cool.
But I expect no less.
Yeah. So you go in, you pick, and you can hear real time what it's doing, and then you save it. Right.
Okay.
But the additional, so that's your.
It's like fundamental level. Like this is the basic.
Yeah. Yeah. Basic. So that's your acoustic response, right? But what's cool about this thing is it has the ability to also do phase alignment through the entire bandwidth.
How?
So it's using VIR filters. So again, it's very accurate to scale. So it measures the phasing of the entire bandwidth. So when it sees anomalies within the phase, it corrects those. So like, for example, I have a factory vehicle, it has all pass filters, right? So you could either have a device where you go in and specifically find those frequencies and adjust and fix manually, or this does it across the entire bandwidth automatically.
With one button?
Not even a button.
It's just part of the process.
Yeah, it's just part of the process. So as you change your target curve and as it sees the response in the vehicle, it in time changes that.
Eric, refresh my memory. The status DSP, can that do that?
No.
That's what I was wondering. So hold on a second.
No.
Why? How does this make sense though? This is a less expensive product with a more advanced software.
Yeah, so this is the first release of this product. Now keep in mind, okay, when you're talking status product, you're talking about engineering and materials and technologies that are for a different category of customer, a different segment of business, right? So I have no doubt that as time moves on and as the technology we're using in Optimate becomes more advanced, you will see that fall into other categories of product.
This is the first.
This is the first generation.
Okay.
So, and really, again, you know, when you're talking about OEM integration and the challenges that you need to fix, especially if you're using a factory head unit, this is very important. You know, so when you're dealing with an aftermarket head unit, you don't have the correction needed.
Correct. You don't need it
as much. You know, there's still phasing issues in vehicles and all that stuff, but it's not to the level.
And that's usually like physical phasing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So you were mentioning, so that you kind of walked us through the simple process. But now what makes this even more special?
So you can do this through your computer, and like our other DSPs, you can do full manual tuning, right? So it has 31 bands parametric EQ, it has time correction, it has all that stuff. So you can go in and manually do all that.
All that's on Pepper stuff.
Yep. So if there's a professional out there that really takes pride in their tuning abilities, they can do that with this. But for the guy that, you know, doesn't have the time, doesn't have the tools, the RTAs and all those things, this has the ability to automatically sound tune the car, like we said. So you can do it through a PC, and there's a mic kit available. And there's a process that you go through. It does, it's basically taking a three-dimensional measurement of the sound cabin.
Sure.
Right? So from roof to floor, from left to right, you take measurements. And this is a process that happens in about 2 minutes, right? And then bang, you're done.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Pretty damn speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do that using your laptop, right? Your computer. Or if you have an iPhone, you can use your iPhone to do this.
iPhone.
Yeah. So you do your setup process through the computer. You set your crossovers, you set your, you know, your inputs and your outputs, all that stuff. And then when you come time to sound tune, you go to your phone, you open the app, you say, okay, I'm ready to tune this thing. Boom, it'll start a process where it gets you within the proper volume level for the test process. So it tells you where you're at. Yeah, okay, next step.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off there.
Yeah.
When you say you're using the phone, the software is in the phone as well?
So
you don't need the laptop.
Right, so
everything's in here.
So the setup process you have to do on your laptop.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
The sound tuning process you can do through your phone.
Okay.
So what you would typically need when you break out your RTA and you're doing your measurements and all this stuff, that's the process that you can now do through your phone in 2 minutes.
And that's called?
That is called automatic sound tuning.
Automatic sound tuning. This word automatic, I think, is going to start peeping its head into a lot more technology. You know, there's the professional level that you mentioned too, those, you know, high-end tuners that want to get in there and calibrate every little thing.
Yeah.
But
that's an art.
That's an art. That
is an art.
It's also specialized.
Yes.
Then there's the well-to-do DIYer that just might want to try, you know, a little bit because he's already had that system, or maybe he understands a little bit more what DSP is all about and the importance. I think this is one of those products that would definitely attract them to try.
We agree.
That's why it's up.
We agree.
All right.
And that's why we think it's going to be a pretty big deal.
Eric, we've ran out of time, but again, at the Alpine booth, busy things going on. Everybody check out the new S-Line product. They're checking out this new, was it Optimate? Optimate multi-channel DSP integrated amplifier. 2 demo cars. You've got that Tesla that's in the booth, and then you've got that that Tundra. That Tundra's off status, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Go check that out. And that's what you're missing by not being here. Eric, thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Make time for me. I'm coming over.
All right,
the
no
demo.
problem.
All right, sounds good. Let's get our next guest in here. Important one. Always here with, you know, every show he shows up, there's going to be like a million things he can talk about. So I'm going to have to control him, right? Because he's a beast of a trainer And come on in, Mr. Jason Anderson from Metro. How's it going, Jay?
Good, man. How are
Good
you?
to see you.
Good to see you.
So I imagine one of the biggest challenges representing a brand such as Metro is focusing on what you can actually do in your booth, and another time you have to talk about because there's so many categories.
It is.
So we kind of had a little preamble because we know we don't have 3 hours to talk about everything that's new at Metro. So let's focus in on 2-3 items which are hot right now that dealers, if you're not here, if you were at the Metro booth, they tell you all about it. What's the number one thing that dealers come by like, yo, what's this?
Well, I think that obviously Metra, right? Our focus is plastics. So first and foremost is plastics. We're still doing development. We know the challenges that people are running into with integration, and Metra is still coming up with solutions. And that is something that you're going to see moving forward for forever. Right?
I'll be honest, we kind of count on you for that as an industry. Like we look to you. Like if Metro don't have the solution, well, you're you know what, out of luck.
Yeah.
That's honestly the truth. I know you probably wouldn't say that. I can say that. But you know what about the plastics? What are dealers like saying? Like they're so happy when you come out with something because maybe they don't realize the amount of R&D that goes into every single kit you make and the depth of detail. Like we've gone into it, like down to the clips. Like there's so many details in a kit. We get spoiled as an industry, as installers. Says, hey, yeah, Metro's got a kit.
Yeah.
Man, think it take for 1 second what it took for them to even come up with that kit. So before you yell at the tech, the customer service person, just think about it. Anyway, that was just me.
Well, I think that what we've seen and what we're going to continue to see is just different technologies and being able to integrate that because it isn't just plastic anymore.
It's beyond plastic.
It's beyond plastic, and it's we've got manufacturers that we work with that are developing radios that we can use in applications that normally we wouldn't be able to with a normal double din brick.
That's right.
So as Metra and as we look forward to the future, having the support of the industry is just a way for all of us to grow. Metra will continue to develop the plastics. We need the radio manufacturers, to build the radios that we know will integrate into those vehicles.
It's how can I say this? I don't want to say it's a team effort, but so many things are intertwined and interconnected that one doesn't work without the other.
That's right.
Right. So
that's right.
And you're so right on that. Man, it's so beyond plastics. There's kits that you have to have an access piece with, or there's pieces that comes with LED displays or different switches or any number of combination of everything I just said here. But very cool. So access. Let's talk about access real quick. What's happening with access DSP?
So DSP, we've got a great new product. It's DSP ETH1, right? So it's the Ethernet version. So,
Ethernet.
Yes.
Do tell.
So Ethernet's a new form of communication inside the vehicle, and being able to integrate that, it's a totally new form of communication for GM. So
is this GM specific right now at this point?
It is GM specific right now. So we obviously got one of the vehicles in right away. And we've been reverse engineering, working on it really hard, and that product is now shipping.
Nice.
So, and actually here at the trainings that we've been doing, we actually got some confirmation on some cars that we didn't have on our current application list.
Oh, that just got added?
Yeah. Well, not just got added, but customers have been trying them. They've been buying them, trying them.
Okay.
And in different makes of that GM family, and we've got some great feedback from these guys here. So it's been a really good.
And that must be nerve-wracking a little bit for you as a product.
It is.
Development guy, because now it's in the field, right? Now it's out there, but getting this feedback and adding to that menu of what it applies to is fantastic. Let's talk about lights. You're gonna see I'm just gonna spit through all these different categories. Lights. Last time you were on, we were talking about Heist, and of course we're talking about this new chasing LED technology. But there's some news on the software front for that category.
Absolutely. So Heist has we've just come out with a single app that you can control chasing LEDs, RGB, and RGBW.
So I don't need like 2-3 different apps on my phone now?
Because
I can show you. I got like 2-3 different. I gotta log in all the time.
So do I.
Okay, this is nice. Thank you.
But now we have one that encompasses all.
Very nice.
So it's got a bunch of different patterns on there you can control.
If you haven't seen Chasing LED, go by the booth, or next time you see Metro to show, it is unreal in person.
Yeah.
I know you got with videos, but when you see it in person, you're like, oh my God, my customer gonna love this.
Yeah.
So put it on demo, because when they see it, it's impossible to not at least ask the question, what are these?
Yeah, exactly.
That's impossible.
Exactly. We've got some great feedback on it, so we're really excited about the product.
Very, very, very cool. Now, my final category, I know I can keep you on forever, but this one I'm particularly excited about. Metra is now offering lithium ion. Tell me about it.
Lithium ion and lithium iron.
Okay, what's the difference and what's that all about?
So 2 different types of chemistry.
Okay.
Right. Lithium ion, we have them in our almost like a power sports category.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very, they're small.
Is this in
batteries.
the Shuriken?
It is under the Shuriken
Okay.
line. So Shuriken's got a new lithium line of batteries.
Gotcha.
So, for Harley Davidson's, for example, we've got a 30L lithium ion battery that's specifically used for cranking the motorcycles, which is used in a bunch of other applications,
Mhm.
right? But it includes a charger with it. So
Comes with charger.
it comes with a charger.
Very nice.
Yep. Because one thing you want to know about lithium batteries is you got to have a lithium charger.
Yeah, don't try charging your
No,
lithium batteries with your old school, AGM charger. They ain't gonna work.
it's not going to work.
It's not good
gonna
for
be
you.
happy.
No, he's not gonna be happy.
So, and then, lithium ion, but then we also have lithium iron phosphate batteries that we
Okay.
brought in. And we have a full
What is the code for
range.
that? What is the periodic code?
LifePo.
LifePo. That's what
LifePo
he's
is
talking about. LifePo. Got it.
So, and we're really excited about them. They are in stock.
Mhm.
However, they've got to ship as like a class 9 hazmat chemical.
Really?
They're safe to ship, but we got to make sure that we're, packing them correctly.
One thing
and
I will
shipping them
guarantee:
correctly.
overall weight will be way down.
It'll be way down. So, 150 amp hour battery,
Mhm.
big battery.
Mhm.
I think it's 46 pounds
Instead of
instead of probably, I don't know, 110 or
yeah,
whatever it is.
I checked one of the specs up quickly on the Shuriken website. So like I was looking at, I think it was a 30 amp hour.
Yeah.
It was like
36 amp hour. Yeah.
36 amp. It was like
Yeah.
32 pounds.
No, it was lighter than that.
or maybe it was
lighter
looking
than
at the wrong- I saw one that was 14 pounds.
Yeah.
And it was a full size.
Yep, exactly. So we're really excited about
Mhm.
it, and you're going to get one of the things with lithium is obviously they're lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
They have incredible long shelf life, and they're going to have that consistent power. And one thing that we really put a lot of emphasis on is the battery management system that's located inside the battery.
That's okay. So that's built in on the top because it's all.
it's
So
built
here's-
in the
if you don't know
inside of
about
the
these
battery.
type of batteries, it's different from traditional batteries because they need management.
Yes.
The way they hold charge and the way they get charged is totally different. So they have, and really a lot of times you see these cheaper options. Man, don't be fooled.
No,
If that battery management sucks, you will hate yourself for it.
that's right.
Just
That's right.
saying. Just saying.
So that battery management system will govern the amount of current that goes into it and the
Mhm.
amount of current that comes out of it, and that's what really makes these batteries, our batteries, safe type of lithium battery.
Well, Metro's going to put their name on it. I would expect
It's
no
got to be
less.
safe.
I would
That's
expect
right.
no less. Did I miss anything? What else? What else are we talking about? Anything
Well,
in motorcycle or anything of that nature?
We've got a great partnership that we're starting out with JBL.
Oh,
Infinity.
yes,
excuse me.
Harman. Yep.
Yep, Harman, and we're going to be packaging some Saddle Tramp products
Okay.
with their motorcycle specific amplifiers and speakers, and selling it as a package.
As like a bundle.
As a bundle. Yeah.
Interesting. You see,
So-
I've noticed this little trend with Metra. The Pioneer kind of collabo situation, and now a little Harman. I see where this is going.
That's right.
I see you.
How else are we all going to grow, right?
Fair enough. Collaboration.
And Metra's really good at certain things,
Mhm.
and we're smart enough to realize that there are other companies out there that are good at what they do, and if we can come together and provide a product for our customers,
Mhm.
then
Then we're all good.
we're all good.
We're all good.
Yeah.
What did you think of the show yesterday?
It was really busy.
It was, wasn't
it?
it?
Was great. It was great turnout. A lot of people came through the booth. We did 2 trainings yesterday,
Mhm.
one for overall new product, and one for Jeep, and it was they were awesome. They were
Amazing.
awesome attendance. So really excited to be here.
Mr. Anderson, first of all, great to see you in person.
Good to see you too, Ben.
Come hang out at the booth a little bit for sure once the crowd calms down later today. And yeah, man, congratulations on the new product.
Well, thank you.
We'll see you
Thanks
soon.
for having me.
Take care.
All right.
That was Jason Anderson representing Metra. And I think I might have one more guest, and we're going to call it for today. And you know what? I'm going to yell out over him. Hold on 1 second. Let me call him out real quick. Yeah, I know we're at the hour mark, but I got one more guy I want to bring in. And I cannot close out the show without this guy right here. They got a really cool booth. They got some new product to talk about. And I'm so happy to finally met him in person. Hope you guys are enjoying this day 2 coverage of K-Fest live from Las Vegas here on CMA Networks. I hope you guys like that Pimp I Ride situation. I thought it was pretty cool that we got all 3 of them to come on here. All right, let's get this all set up. I see him getting his bag. He's coming over. All right. Other than that, I want to remind everybody to tune in on Sunday night. Sunday night, we're going to be broadcasting the ME Industry Awards at 7 p.m. Pacific. That's going to be a fun time. And I mean, cheer on for all your favorite installers and shops and professionals who have put in the time to, have a chance at one of these awards. All right, he's coming in right now. Let's go and get our final interview. Sir, come on over. I'm going to close out the show with you. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, live and in person, the man, the myth, the legend,
Dun, dun, dun.
Mr. Jeff Smith, representing AMP Global. What's going on, Jeff?
What's up,
Bro?
How you doing, man?
We're in person, buddy.
In person.
I'm so happy to finally meet this guy in person. We get to hang out. Today is when I'm gonna go walk around. Yesterday, I let kind of the dealers, take up the space. I'm gonna come in afterwards, but obviously, I want to go through everything you got going on at the AMP booth. What was your take, man? Yesterday, day one.
Vegas is always a good turnout, but for some reason, the floor was just like a whole vibe yesterday.
Bro, it was vibing yesterday.
Everybody was just on point. Everybody's booths were just full of people.
Show floor looks great.
Asking for information, learning stuff. Training classes were packed. Like Ken's first class yesterday was like 201 people.
Can you imagine?
It was nuts. Classes, we had 3 trainings yesterday. We had 46 in the first training, 44 in the audio control training, and then like our last audio control, we had 72 in the last.
That's
training.
with you and Matt together.
That's with me and Matt together. Yeah, so it was nuts.
Obviously, Vine Broadcasting, unfortunately, a lot of people that couldn't make it out here. We want to give them a taste. We're trying to show them some coverage of the show, talk a little bit of the new products going on. So when it comes to AMP Global, obviously, we're talking about multiple products here. Right? We're talking about Echo Master, we're talking about Stinger, we're talking about Pack Integrate stuff, and of course, we're talking about audio control stuff. I don't want to steal Matt's thunder because I have him as well. So we'll just go put audio control on the side for a second. If that's okay with you.
Matt's the king of AC.
Yeah, I'm going to give him his chance. But there's more than enough to talk about just on your side. So what's new? Let's start with Pack. What's new at Pack?
So with Pack, right now, of course we have our new AP4 FT31. That's the data bus integration piece for the Ford B&O systems. So that's been a
B&O. That's been a pain in a lot of people's
huge. Yeah, man, it's been a huge winner. I mean, it does some really cool stuff. Of course, it's standard AMP Pro integration, but this is like the first one where we had to really dig into the vehicle's data bus and be able to take the amplifier out and replace the amplifier as a node on the A2B network. And dude, it's killer.
And have you played with it installed?
Yes.
What was your impression?
Dude, it was. Let me say this: compared to some of the other options out there,
because I can only think of one other option.
I don't want to be biased, but it was a home run.
Really?
It was a home run. We've even released a little bit more firmware recently in order to allow it to work with even more of the Ford platform. So Lightning, Maverick, Mach-E, of course, all the other. I mean, it's just going to be more and more coming.
Well, is the B&O one the most intricate out of all of them?
So the B&O is the one that is Ethernet. So you can't do. You have to take the amplifier out. That's the entire thing.
Gotcha.
You cannot stay in line and add AMP Pro like in previous iterations for different.
You have to take out and replace.
You have to completely take the amplifier out. So it comes with the vehicle harness, so that you have like our APH harnesses. So you plug into the factory wire and you have all your speaker wires and everything already there, ready to go.
Sweet.
So between that and the new LPHs, the Lock Pro harnesses. So the LPHs are for non-amplified vehicles. APHs are for amplified vehicles. So the new LPH, everyone's seen those. We've seen that's been out for a while. So we've released a V2. You have to come by the booth and see what the difference is between V1 and V2. V2 is going to make installers' dreams. Just the way we put all the connectors on, just quick release.
You see the theme here?
And all that.
Jeff and Pack make installers happy. This is
their
goal in life. This is what they do.
Products built for installers by installers.
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
The way it is.
Sweet. Let's talk about Stinger. Anything at Stinger going on?
So with Stinger, that was the piece I had in my hand. So one of the things we're doing there is we're doing these vehicle-specific amp racks, right? Yeah. Vehicle-specific amp racks.
That's what you're showing.
Yeah. So
look,
this
it's branded.
is,
Look at that. Branded.
Stinger. This is the amp rack for a Bronco. This fits in a full-size Bronco under the passenger seat, and it's
factory mounting holes.
Factory mounting holes into the factory seat bolts and everything. It's already pre-drilled and pre-tapped to fit ACX series of AC amps. SPX series of Stinger amps and things like that. So there's multiple different brands of amplifiers under the amp umbrella. So we made sure we can fit the most power.
But they're universal drilled as well?
They're drilled specifically for certain models of our amplifiers from Audio Control, Stinger, and PG. but then you can put any brand of amplifier. Like if you wanted to put like a X2 from ARC on here, or Moto Series, or a JL-MX, or any other brand of marine style amplifier or all-weather style amplifier, if you can fit it in the footprint, go for it. If you're a dealer for that brand.
Because honestly, to fab that,
that was a free plug for Fred over there. So.
Yeah, because what? Because Fred Lynch is sitting over there staring at you, giving you gang signs. Anyways, and the finish on that, by the way, Jeff, is really nice. I mean, it's factory show customer that.
Yeah, it's steel. It's steel.
It's steel.
It's ready to rock and roll, bro.
So what about EchoMaster? Can you talk about it real quick?
Yeah, EchoMaster's leading the charge on new camera innovation. Now that we're going full HD.
I gotta say, the HD thing and EchoMaster, that's been the conversation for like 2 years now.
Dude, it's alive and kicking now. You can come check out Nathan's Tacoma, full HD all the way around, front, rear, left, and right blind spots. We have the new High 10 update.
Oh, software update?
Website. It's on the website.
Okay.
For HD camera integration into the High 10s.
How cool
all
is that?
4 camera inputs now are full HD.
And that's just a software update.
That's a rev on the brain. You can only go to the website. Your brain has to be this rev.
Okay.
And then you can update the unit, and all 4 camera inputs will take HD input up to 720p.
Full HD all around.
All around, dude. And it's night and day difference, because we started this whole backup camera thing, dude. We were like 4-inch screens, 5-inch screens. So that 480 resolution was
on
fine.
a 10-inch screen.
It was fine. On a 10-inch, dude, you put one of those nice High 10s or a Kenwood or Alpine, and you put that older resolution on there, it just looks washed out.
It's disappointing,
right?
It's disappointing.
So when you
especially when you go from your graphics page to you're like,
exactly. You're like, what happened? So it doesn't look like real life. And then Jeep ruined us when they added that new digital 720p camera for the factory Wrangler backup, and everyone's like, that's what I want. So we're doing it. It's live and kicking in the booth. New PhD cam.
And that's all connected to the High 10 booth. You can see that.
Yep, you can see exactly how it works. And what's really cool is that there are other manufacturers that are out there doing 720p, but they're doing it through a special connector only into that particular input. We're doing it through regular RCA, regular coaxial CBBS style yellow RCA in our industry. We are pushing 720p straight over that with no problem. So we're going to make it universal.
That makes it way more universal, way more practical, way more applications.
Yep, exactly.
Very, very cool. So, last thing, anything else you want to shout out about?
Man, just the training classes. Like training classes, just don't be afraid to come by the training classes, whether it's here. I mean, you guys are ramping up for the expo.
Yes, we are back in Canada.
People don't realize, man. I mean, everyone's hopefully now. You guys are finally able to come across the border, come and see us. Dude, get out and get this training. You guys have been making all this money during the COVID money, situation, and people have been out of touch with each other. So now's the time. You got this event kicking off, for the year, K-Fest Vegas. Then we got Orlando and Indy.
Get out there, get educated,
dude.
Man.
Get out there and get educated.
Get out there and get educated.
Get your hands on some new
But I'll tell you what, you're missing out if you're not here. This one is a good one. I mean, the vibe has been great. It's been great seeing everybody. Participation from dealers, the participation from the manufacturers,
dude, the demo cars.
Dude, what do you think I'm doing for today and tomorrow? I'm
cars.
literally going around just listening to all the demo cars. So many new whips, so many. So,
100%.
Mr. Smith, always a pleasure. Great. You see that? We're actually touching. This isn't CG. This isn't CG. Thanks about. Have a great show, man.
I will. See you, man.
All right, so that's it for today from day 2 of Knowledge Fest. Great conversations with a lot of great people. We'll be back again on Sunday. To kind of final out, and anybody I missed, I'm going to try to get on. But hopefully you guys enjoy this, kind of give you a sneak peek at what you're missing here right on the Paris Convention Showroom floor. And this is it. So K-Fest, day 2 here in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Yo, roll it down. I am. You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's last on Loud Radio. Kevin, you could use your phone. What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?